Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today.
Professor Presbury back with another episode of Hey Professor, the show where we talk about everything you want to know about allied health, health administration, healthcare informatics, and healthcare management field. I'm Javon Presbury, Javon M.H. Presbury as your professor, and this episode is going to be about what my CCS did for me. I've had my CCS since 2014, maybe 2015 now. I haven't coded in years, so let me go over what that means, right? So I got my CCS back in 2014 when I was a coder at an organization in South Jersey. It was a hospital, pretty good hospital, pretty big hospital. It did a lot for my career having them on my resume. In any case, having my CCS really solidified me in that space as a healthcare professional, right? I was somebody that then on paper definitely knew how to code. I could be a coding consultant, I could be an inpatient coder, I could be a remote coder, those types of things, right? So having my CCS helped me there. What you're gonna find is that when you get your CCS, you're gonna have to maintain it. Even if you don't use it, don't let it expire. Get your CEUs, because that really speaks to your knowledge in that coding space. Like I said, I've had my CCS for almost a decade now. I haven't coded in God knows how many years, right? But I still do have that general knowledge. I have that basic knowledge of coding, and that definitely helps me because not only do I, can I go into a meeting and represent my own knowledge. When I put it on a resume, obviously it speaks to my experiences, but it does help. What I'll find is that the further away you get, there's a saying I had, the higher you go, the less they know. And that's not to be a jerk. What I mean to say is, everybody has somebody specialized for them, right? So I had a team that did ROI, and they did ROI. That's all they did, right? I used to do ROI years upon years ago. I was an ROI specialist. I did all that. I knew it front to back, everything. Years ago, I've moved away from that. I've gotten broader in HIM as well as revenue cycle, and because of that, my ROI knowledge is actually pretty weak. I don't mean to say it's weak, it's passable, but what you'll find is that generally in leadership and management, as you go up, you have to know more things. You don't have to know everything 100%, but you have to know more things. So you're going to need to have people under you that know those things. I'm getting a little bit away from the CCS, sorry. I'll wrap this up real quick, right? So, I'm an HIM specialist. HIM is my whole thing, right? It's my whole field. My bosses are revenue cycle, but they don't know anything about HIM. That's why I'm here. And that's what the CCS speaks to. They don't know coding, so they rely on me as a coding expert. So that really kind of gives you that leeway, right? I literally go into conversations with coding vendors, and I know what should be being done. I know what to expect, not only from my own time, but with my CCS, like I said, speaks to my specialty. It speaks to my experience. It speaks to my expertise. And it really does allow me to kind of command that space because, when you go into those spaces without those things, I'm not saying people are, checking at the door like, well, what's your resume? You know what I mean? But going into conversations where I have to either negotiate, debate, or what have you. And I've had meetings with vendors where I'm determining, what we're going to do and how much we're going to spend and this and that, what they should be doing. And the fact that I have the CCS does allow me to have a commanding presence because they know that they can't mess around, right? Because anytime that you have a vendor and you have a client, you're going to have two sides. The client is the one that, obviously you need to please, but the vendor also basically has to tell you what is realistic. And you guys come to a business agreement about what's going to be done or what can be done, obviously, throughout there. But like I said, having that CCS allows me to master that space. So I can really go into those meetings and say, hey, this is what we're doing, or this is what we're not doing. This is what I expect. This is what should be happening. This is how long it should take. My bosses look to me to give them those answers about what can be done, because that's important, because anything over HIM is generally revenue cycle, obviously. So with my revenue cycle leadership, my bosses are like, hey, Javon, they haven't coded these cases. Why is that? What could take so long? that allows you to really command that space. So I hope that made sense. I hope this episode was helpful to you. Oh, sorry. Also, like I said, if you wanted to do coding, you could still do that because you have your CCS. So you can always, again, like I said, dip your toe back in. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, on top of just keeping your CCS, keeping your credentials up to date with your CEUs, if you're interested, it's not a bad thing to keep your skills sharp. Maybe go for a per diem coding job on the side, something that will allow you to make money. You can do 2 things. I do like 4 or 5 things all at once, all the time. That's why I'm crazy busy. Again, guys, it's been Professor Presbyterian, another episode of Hey Professor. I hope this was helpful, and we'll do other episodes in the future. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.
Intelligence is not enough. Intelligence plus character. That is the true goal of education.